Hello, and welcome back to part 2 of my series where I'm designing Wings of Fire as D&D and creating an entire party. So instead of using Cypress's table, I decided to make my very own for the rest of this challenge, and we are going to be using a 10-sided dice for the Dragon Tribe, a 6-sided dice for the hybrid and gender, a 12-sided dice for the class, and a 1d20 or a 20-sided dice for the accessories. So let's get right on into this. And we're back with the duck dice again because I can't help it. I love these dice so much. Alright, so we rolled our dice of 10 and that is an 8. So we got a hive wing to start us off. Next, we're going to go ahead and roll a 6-sided dice to see if we get a hybrid, and we did get a hybrid because odd is yes. And that is a 3, so we got an ice wing. This is going to be interesting. Now we're going to roll to see what gender. We got odd, so a feminine dragon. Now we're going to go ahead and roll 12-sided dice. That is a 5, which is a fighter. Now we're going to go ahead and roll the 20-sided dice, and that is a 19. So we got a blindfold, a 10, so she gets a pet. That is a 9, so she gets jewelry. And that is an 18, so she gets bandages. Alright, so we have a Hivewing Icewing hybrid who's a fighter who has a blindfold, a pet, jewelry, and some bandages. Now this dragon was a little bit more tricky for me to design just because I've never really drawn like hive wings very often. I feel like hive wings in general are a little bit more harder to have as like a hybrid, especially with an ice wing. Like I was trying to look up designs for a hive wing ice wing hybrid, and I haven't really seen many hybrids of these two specific tribes together. I haven't seen many designs for it, so this one was a little bit more tricky because I had to kind of come up with my own idea of how this dragon would look. But I think in the end I did pull everything together, so definitely stay tuned for the end to see the end result. But anyways, so as I said in my first video of this series, I'm going to be explaining what each class is of whatever class I end up getting for each dragon. So for today's video, we have a fighter. A fighter is basically just a person or character that is just extremely good with any sort of melee weapon or just weapon in general. They're just extremely good at fighting. That's kind of all I can really say about a fighter. There's not really much that's actually special to them. They're extremely good in combat and everything for D&D, so I highly recommend to use a fighter if you know your campaign is going to be more of an actual like fighting type of campaign rather than a roleplay type. But I've never really played as a fighter before just because I try to use other types of classes just because I think it's a little bit more fun and interesting. But anyways, so for this character, I was having kind of a hard time trying to figure out what kind of like story she would have. But I do know that I wanted her to have some sort of like difficulty, and that can like affect her fighting style. Like I wanted her to be something super like a different type of fighter, something a little bit more special, not so ordinary for a fighter. And so I was looking at the different types of subclasses that they can have, and one really stuck out to me: the Arcane Archer subclass. So Arcane Archer is basically just like a fighter who focuses more on archery, and they have like different arrows that can cast different types of spells or have different kinds of effects. And so that really made me think, like, she might be able to have or stumble across some sort of like animus touched object, like of a bag of arrows that can have all these different effects. And so that got me thinking, like, okay, so she's an archer that has these animus touched arrows, or like the bag is animus touched, that can make any sort of arrow have any sort of like magical effect or something like that. So that started getting my gears turning, and so I started thinking of like her actual story, and I wanted her to have another like interesting factor to her. So since she had a blindfold, I was thinking that maybe she was blind or became blind somehow. And then I was trying to think of how, like, what her pet could do or what could be like interesting for her pet. And so I was like, okay, maybe because she's blind, she clearly can't see very well, or just can't see at all. And so maybe her pet can be kind of like her eyes and can help guide her along. And that way the pet can also be very useful for whenever she's in combat, because it can help guide her on where to strike or where to shoot the arrows. I started absolutely loving this idea, and just her story started becoming a lot more clear to me, and I was able to figure out her backstory and everything. Once one of the fiercest fighters in the hives, Bristletail was a paragon among the hive-winged drones. Though a hybrid, her heritage was a secret buried under layers of discipline and merit. Her comrades respected her skill so deeply that they never spared a second thought for her slightly unusual features. She was a rising star in the ranks, defined by her lethal precision and unwavering loyalty to the hive. That all changed during a skirmish with the Leafwings. In the heat of battle, Bristletail pinned a foe and raised her spear for the killing blow. But the Leafwing retaliated with a desperate surge of leaf speak, erupting a mass of crown of thorns vines. The caustic thorns lashed across Bristletail's face, searing her eyes with a pain she ironically described as feeling like thousands of tiny bee stings. Though the Hivewings won the battle, Bristletail lost everything. The poisonous sap from the vines caused permanent blindness, stripping her of her rank and her purpose. The dragons she once called friends soon revealed their true colors. Some shunned her, others looked on with horrified pity, and most simply abandoned her to navigate the hive's labyrinthine halls alone. The sting of embarrassment eventually outweighed the physical agony. Driven by isolation, Bristletail took to the sky and flew until her wings nearly gave out. She crossed the vast ocean, reaching the continent her mother had whispered about in stories, collapsing in the biting cold of the Ice Kingdom. In the freezing solitude of the tundra, her hive-wing wings began to wither, though her hybrid blood kept them from failing entirely. During this time, she discovered an injured snowy owl, its wing mangled by an icewing's bite. She nursed the creature back to health, and in return, the owl became her eyes, guiding her through the frozen landscape. Knowing she needed a way to protect her companion without the benefit of sight, she turned to long-range combat. While foraging for herbs, she stumbled upon a discarded satchel of arrows. Though she couldn't read the note tucked inside, she sensed a strange hum of power emanating from the wood. She crafted a bow, and with the owl's keen eyes to help her aim, discovered the arrows were animus enchanted. By learning the distinct carvings on each shaft, Bristletail now wields a variety of magical effects, ranging from explosive bursts to an arrow that never misses, to defend her newfound peace from any who dare to threaten it. I absolutely love how her story came together in the end, because just looking, whenever I first generated this character, I was struggling a lot to be able to figure out how I'd be able to make this into an actual story. Like a dragon, a hybrid dragon that's from two different tribes, from two different continents, was extremely challenging to figure out first. But then I wanted her to have some sort of way that she's in the Ice Kingdom, but she was still mostly Hivewing. And I wanted her look to come off as mostly Hivewing. And I think I really did handle that. And so I based her design off of a specific bee. I forget what kind of bee it was, but I'll put it up on screen right now. And I loved how this bee looked, and I thought that it was going to be the perfect design for a Hivewing Icewing, since it had a lot of white on it, and it had the black on it like a Hivewing does. So that way it was able to still look like a bee and be based off of a real life bee, but still have that Icewing feel to it. And once I figured out her design and everything, and I figured out her story, everything just kind of came together from there. There's not much else I can really talk about her design, so I'm just gonna go ahead and leave it right here. Just enjoy some music as I finish drawing Bristletail and her snowy owl companion. Alright, since I'm almost done with her design and finishing up this video, I just wanted to say that I'm so happy of how her design came out, and I'm very proud for how my first hybrid dragon came out. I haven't drawn a hybrid dragon ever for Wings of Fire, so I'm very proud and very happy with how this came out. I think it could have gone a little bit more smoothly for her design, and the colors were a little bit harder to come across in traditional drawing, but I'm fairly happy. I did as much as I could to try and get the design out across as much as I could. But anyways, comment down below how you think I could have improved her design, or what I could have done for her look and for her design. But anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please leave a like and comment and subscribe if you'd like to see more, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!